Welcome. In this video I'm going to be discussing some 3-star strategies for Town Hall 9s. A couple months back, the go-to strategy will be hogs, and most of our Town Hall 9s and max Town Hall 8s were using hog raids pretty regularly to 3-star opponent bases. But now since that, we are seeing more and more well-developed Town Hall 9s with anti-hog considerations. It's getting harder and harder for us to 3-star a base with a straight up hog raid. So you could either do some tweaking or try different strategies that I'm going to mention in this video. So first off, two of the biggest threats to a hog raid are giant bombs, double giant bombs, or even 4 scattered giant bombs, and the AQ. So I'm pretty sure that most of us realize the threat of giant bombs and how double giant bombs can wipe a pack of hogs. I just want to show you that the AQ is also a formidable defense. So I'm going to be looking at this raid. A straight up hog raid, not a bad choice since there weren't any spaces inside the base. So it's a good base to hog. What we're going to do is count the number of hogs that died to the archer queen. It's going to fast forward through this part. Okay, yeah, the hog raid starts. Okay, let's wait. Okay, now the archer queen is shooting. Okay, so I'm gonna right. You could slow down the video a bit, but right now it's targeting one of these hogs. Okay. I believe it's this one right here that's losing health. So we'll focus on that hog. I think that's the first one. Okay, so it goes down. So the archer queen, she's manageable under heal spells. She would take out a hog. Well, it's a level 2 archer queen. A low level archer queen will probably take out a hog under heal in about, I estimate would be like 10 seconds or so. But if it's outside the heal, obviously much faster. So there goes the second hog. I'm not sure if you guys caught that. The second hog just went down. Yeah, that's the third hog. The fourth. Okay. Fifth. Well, obviously other buildings are still contributing to killing the hogs, but you know, 6. Okay, so these hogs are on low health. That'll be 7, 8, but you know, they're already low on health. That's 9. That's 10. And that's 10 hogs. 10 hogs died to the archer queen. That's 50 spaces. Now look at what the heroes are doing. The heroes are just clearing out the trash. They're not losing health, right? It's fine if the archer queen is not losing health, but you kind of want the bar king to lose health because his purpose is to serve as a tank. Right, so we'll not worry about the rest of the raid. Just showing you that in this raid, the archer queen killed about 10 hogs, not by herself, but you know. And she kills a lot of hogs near the end of the raid when you run out of heal spells. Okay, so what we would recommend, so one tweak would be to send in what's called a cold-blooded team, or CV, whatever. Just a golem with a couple wall breakers and wizards, a couple wizards to break the funnel, and heroes. Utilizing the HP of the Fire King to aggro onto the AQ and kill. We'll show that in march rate on 7. Yes. Okay, even though this was a different strategy, but the concept is the same. It's sending in an AQ kill squad. Okay, so we'll fast forward through the first half of the video. We'll come back to this video later on. Okay, just normal stuff. Okay. Alright, no wait, that's, no. Okay, now we start. So, golem goes down, barking, which is okay. I would have broke the funnel a little bit more. So barking almost went around. Okay. Okay. Now the AQs aggroed onto the golem, and the barking instantly aggroes onto the AQ. And under rage, his special ability, the AQ instantly goes down. And they also take out a whole compartment, right? And obviously the AQ does more damage to the defenses. So that's that. That's a normal CB AQ kill. And I'll just show you one more. So one attack on 3. Skip the first part. Okay, CC kill, golem goes down. Notice that the golem is over here, while I drop my wall breakers there, because all the defenses are going to be targeting all the long range defenses are going to be targeting the golem. And I've checked that the wizard tower's range is about here, so that won't harm my wall breakers. So none of the defenses are targeting my wall breakers, and they're free to go in and break this wall. And what will happen is that the golem will reroute when he sees an opening in the wall. Yep. So I did this to prevent the chance that if I deploy wall breakers on the same wall as the golem is standing here, and if I deploy wall breakers right behind, then there is a risk that the mortar shell would take out the wall breakers if you're unlucky. Or you could time the mortar shells, but that's sort of tricky, and it requires more concentration. Just wanted to mention the fact that that little trick to offset wall breakers with the golem. Okay, so next up is laloon. So laloon is now the OP strategy for most, I would say most Town Hall 9s and even Town Hall 10s. So it's pretty much the only reliable 3-star strategy on Town Hall 10s nowadays. We'll look at a couple of laloon attacks, each with a different style. So we'll look at Retarder and Stezzle's attack. So they like to use the spam style. So spam in 4 lava hounds followed by a line of balloons, and then rage the balloons onto the air defenses, the first 2 air defenses. And the rages, I would have put down the rages a little bit earlier, but gets the job done. Okay, I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit. So you generally don't need to worry about the AQ and the CC troops, because those will get taken out by either the splash damage of balloons or the the lava pups and minions. Fast forward. Okay, so that's spam version. Using a line of lava hounds and then setting in a line of balloons, raging and maybe healing. Okay. Worked out pretty well. Now the next attack is done by Stezo. Okay, it's also a span, and notice that he only has a level 1 hound and one, I believe, a level 2 hound in CC. So dropping in 2 hounds for each AD, and then following up with the line of balloons. So looks easy, just an easy, good and easy strategy. One comment is that you notice if you counted, there were about, I would say there's about 5 or 6 balloons on that single archer tower, and it looks like there's going to be 5 balloons and even more, 8 in total going to this one cannon. They're going to be wasting their DPS because you really just need 1 balloon under rage to one-shot any archer tower, cannon, or whiz tower, or pretty much all the defense except for the expos, which have higher HP. You need either 2 balloons under rage or 3 balloons to one-shot them. But for all the other towers, you just need 1 balloon under rage or just 2 balloons not under rage. So in this case, only 2 balloons contribute to killing this cannon, while the other 6 balloons waste their bombs. But it gets the job done. So what I would do differently would be to spread out the balloons even more. So your line would look something like this. Probably thinner in the middle, because all the balloons in the middle would probably consolidate to that single cannon. You don't want a pack of balloons to consolidate that early on. It's harder to control in the later stages of the raid, but at the beginning you should try to spread out the balloons as much as possible, so probably 2 or 3 max on a single tower. And I sometimes, if you have extra balloons, like in his case, in Stezo's case, he had around, you could check the numbers again, I think he had around 20 something balloons, so really only, I would say 2, maybe 3, because you want the balloons to spread out, and maybe 2, so you kind of need only, I think that's something like 15 or so balloons. You could keep 5 balloons in the bag to do some back-end looning, because most of the balloons will get consolidated to a single group, and they're going to just do 1 building at a time. Well, on the back side, you could then deploy like 2 balloons onto this, 2 balloons onto that, another 2 balloons onto that, and it would destroy these back-end buildings more efficiently. Let's see if you have extra balloons. So we'll just see what goes, how it goes. You notice that the Archer Queen is shooting at the loons, and they die pretty fast to them. So yeah, the Archer Queen is still a threat. If she's easily accessible, then I would definitely encourage you to use a CB, a golem, and heroes to take her out. Because heroes are kind of wasting their HP if they're just used for cleanup, right? They have their HP for a reason. You want the heroes to take damage to a certain extent. Yeah, so, we'll just quickly watch the cleanup phase of this attack. Okay, that's good. Good. Nice and easy. Good strategy, and it works especially well if the ADs are spread out. Moving on, we'll look at different styles. Spamming works. It's just that things get a little bit dicey towards the end of the raid, because once you have all the balloons consolidating to one pack, they might get really unlucky, and they're vulnerable to those red air bombs and as well as a high-level whiz tower. So a more surgical approach would be, I think it was on 7. So first take out the AQ. So even for spam, you need a little bit of luck to kill the AQ, and as well as the CC troops. Okay. So what he's doing here is using hogs to take out an AD and also lure the clan castle troops. So even though 7 hogs and a heal spell was used, it was a pretty large investment there. It was totally worth it. Taking out 3 defenses as well as luring out the, including an AD, as well as luring out the CC. Just consolidating them to one big pack. So this is one of the ways you can take out a CC by doing a loon drop, using about maybe 4 or 5 barbs, or sometimes up to 7 or 8 if there's a witch, to consolidate them in one tight pack, and then drop a balloon. So when you're bunching them up, you want to bunch them up somewhere where there's a clear closest, one single closest defense. So in this case, this cannon. There's no way that a balloon drop somewhere here would target the archer tower, because this distance clearly looks less than that. But opposed to bunching them up somewhere here, if the CC troops were here and you drop a balloon there, then you don't know whether it's going to go this way or that way. And what will happen is, if you deploy it here, you might think that the loon will go towards the cannon and might explode onto the CC. What will happen is that the loon will instead go diagonally off into the archer tower and miss the CC. So yeah. So this was deployed a little bit too far, and that one worked out really well. I'm just going to stop the video because there's someone calling me. Okay, so back to this. Right. And so this style would be using hogs to take out one AD, getting the CC, using golems and heroes to take out another AD, while using laloon on the back end to take out the other 2 ADs, follow up with a line of balloons on one side. So let's see how it all goes down. So we've seen this part before in another bit. And then notice that the lava hounds go down, dropping the balloons, and good spread on the balloons. Oh. Hello? Hello? Wait? Okay, another phone call. Okay, continue. And cleanup mode. Notice that he still had 1 rage, 1 loon, and a couple of cleanup troops in the bag. So pretty OP strategy. Also another attack. This other attack on 6. So this was more of just a straight up laloon. So not dealing with the AQ because it's just that there are these layer of walls here. That makes it a little bit tricky to get to the AQ, especially with this little moat. There's a chance that, let's say the golem was going from this side, there's a chance that the AQ will be standing right here, shooting at the barking and the golem, so the barking can't go on to the can attack the AQ straight away, and also that there's his barking is also nearby, so it makes it a little bit harder to get to the AQ. And on this side, there's just too many compartments. So like if you break open, I guess it will work if you break open this compartment, and maybe the barking will run inside, but also there's a chance that the AQ will be standing here, so then the barking would have to bang on a wall before getting to the AQ. You could bring a jump spell, but you know, it's, you know, I guess a jump spell there would work. We also need to do a bit of work to funnel the barking into the AQ. So that's why we chose not to do a CB on this base. So what Mark did instead was, well, first of all, use hogs, if possible, to take out an AD as well as lure the clan castle. That's always a good trade-off. AD goes down, CC gets lured, and the hogs take out quite a few buildings. An archer tower, I think that's 3 buildings. An archer tower, 2 archer towers, and an AD, and another building in the middle of it. I forgot what it was, a piano or something. Okay, so the same thing. Consolidating one big pack, and a couple loons. So followed by lava hounds. So this strategy would be to, instead of setting in like a line of lava hounds followed by a line of balloons, we're going to tackle one balloon at one AD at a time, working in a counterclockwise fashion, so that we would minimize the damage done by these defenses. Okay. Rage onto that 180, balloons get on top of it, take it down. Moving on to the next AD, sending in more loons behind it, and also another lava hound. And once this AD goes down, all the hounds are going to travel this way to the last AD, and the remaining loons are going to come in. Rage spell. Yep, worked out pretty well. Now the only problem is that the last lava hound, all the lava hounds are supposed to explode at the end of the raid. Because you want to get more of those lava pups to help with cleanup. But he brought 4 lava hounds, so that's already 3 of them popped, so giving more than enough lava pups. And also the heroes weren't used yet. So nice attack. Last we're gonna watch is, let's see, oh, my attack. My attack on 3. So far we've shown about 4 or 5 loons. Oops, another laloon. Mine was more like the first video, Mark's first attack. So well, we've been seeing that there are generally two, a couple styles. So either spam or using hogs to lure CC and get an AD. So hogs on one AD, CV on another AD, and then loons from the back end on, the loon on the other two, the remaining two ADs. That's one way. Or hogs on one AD, the loon, straight up the loon on the other three. Or what else? No, that's about it. Or you can use a laloon to a small laloon force to get the CC as well as 1AD. That also works. In this case, it's another hog on 1AD. Hog on AD gets the CC, does the kill, and golem goes in, followed by BK. BK takes out AQ, as well as another AD, and then lava hounds come in from the top. Notice that just one thing I want to mention. Notice that I didn't drop my lava hounds here. So you want to pick good angles for your hounds. The reason is that if I drop them here, they wouldn't pick up as many defenses. So you want as many defenses firing onto your lava hounds as possible. That's why I dropped them from the top, so that they would let the two top archer towers aggro onto the lava hounds while the blues sneak in to take them out. Okay. Just normal stuff. Raise the balloons onto the ADs. No ADs left. More than enough balloons. More than enough cleanup troops as well. Both heroes are still alive. We still have a wallbreaker and a minion left in back. Okay, that's about it for the loon. And one more strategy that higher Town Hall 9s can try to develop. So what are the bases? It seems like a loon works on almost all the bases, except for, well, maybe they would work on these bases as well, but the problem with these kind of bases is that the ADs are all centralized. So for the other videos, the other bases, notice that the ADs were spread apart, so that none of the ADs cover other ADs. Like in this case, if I drop a lava hound, let's say I drop a lava hound onto one of the ADs, then all the other ADs will be firing onto that lava hound, and the lava hound will pop way too fast. And also that, notice that there's a moat around the ADs. That will make it hard for the loons to reach the lava hound in time. So, for instance, if you deployed lava hounds here, followed by a line of balloons, what would tend to happen is that the balloons might wander off following the ring, since they are defense-led troops. I believe there was a Tesla here. Maybe if there was a Tesla, then that would totally connect the archer tower to Tesla to the waves. So none of the balloons will go into the core. Or maybe a few, but they would easily get picked off. So in this case, the loon wouldn't be the best strategy. Not saying that a seasoned loon attacker would still probably could pull off an attack somehow, maybe like breaking off a funnel, creating a funnel for the balloons. But so what I did, an easier way to tackle these bases, there's generally two ways you could use. Either a holo, hogs and loons, so like deploy a loon here, a loon there, to take out these, another loon, take out this interior ring, and then send in a few hogs to take out the core, and also with cleanup troops. That's the idea. Or you could use, what I did here was, I did a GoLowiwi, so gowiwi with loons, backend loons. And our enemy used a couple GoLowiwi as well, including the one on DP's base, and that was pretty successful. So we'll look at how it all went down, and obviously I didn't get the 3-star, but it was close enough. There was a couple things I could have improved on, like dropping troops faster, and I didn't get the full lure, unfortunately, and also should have saved a couple wizards in the bag for cleanup while I deployed all my wizards on this line here. So we'll just walk. I'm not gonna say too much about it. Maybe I could have used a rage spell to speed things up in hindsight. And then just use one hog. Maybe I should use a couple more hogs to get the lure. Got a partial lure, which is okay. So golems followed by wallbreakers, wizzies, heroes. Okay, let's go a little bit slower. The spells weren't well placed, because but oh well. So now, what typically happens with a normal gowiwi raid is that the gowiwi team would get stuck in the core. So it works well on Town Hall 10 because you can dive into the core to get the Town Hall. But then this exterior ring would typically take out most of the troops inside the core once they're stuck on the walls. So there are two ways to do it. You could either use loons on the back end, or hogs, or jump out of the core. So I did both loons and jump. Notice I didn't add 1 minion up here. I realized that I was running out of time. Unfortunately, I did get this last elixir storage. Happens. And one bad thing about this raid was that my heroes were both at full health, which is not a good sign. You want the Barb King and the AQ to be on low health, especially the Barb King. Kind of want him to die, like golems. You want golems to die. If you see a golem at half health or full health or half health, that's usually a bad sign. Like that's a wasted 30 units of spacing. Okay, so that's about it. That wraps it up. Nice raid. See you.